hold it up, show it. Let me first start with this idea of debt, student debt. Everyone's got an opinion on that. If you haven't, you're a zombie. Sammy, camera, as scalpel, body, student future, abscess, student debt. How would you go after the topic as a filmmaker?
So let's start with the debt. So as far as the debt goes, student loans and such, they're not ideal for students actually. Like they're more of like a predatory lending, I would say. It's not the right way to say it, but
No, it might be. I saw that the great film called Maxed Out. Who saw it? It was on Netflix. Really great. Write these things down. It's called Maxed Out. Tremendous film. Inside Job. I just saw that a couple of months ago. Who saw that one?
that's on YouTube.
Tremendous,
On YouTube.
tremendous, man. And people say, "Oh, that was propaganda." I said, "Not the way they laid it out, man."
They don't get it.
Didn't sound like propaganda to me. Could be, I don't know how balanced it was. It was partisan, but big deal. I had a couple siblings who lost their houses. Boom. There you go. Predatory. Do you think, and this is up for studio audience, that your education here has been subjected to predatory loaning?
Indirectly, yeah, because you don't get for students that do get financial aid, it's not enough. They have to take out Stafford loans every semester also.
What's the
In
percentage?
addition, I think a lot of people actually.
Who has a part-time job here? Half you. Cool. You're my hero. You don't, Sammy? You don't have a part-time job?
No, I'm not currently no, but I actually take out the subsidized Stafford loans. I don't take out the unsubsidized, but other people tend to do that also in hard times. Which
So what's the interest rate on those?
that's higher. You have to start paying interest while you're in school. So
Holy smokes. Weigh in. Anyone? Weigh in. Name.
Devin.
Devin. What's this? What camera? Scalpel. Cutaway. Student debt. What are we finding?
I think that the entire system is a little predatory at this point. I think that the education system is a racket in a way, in as much as
A pyramid scheme. And some say it's the last pyramid scheme to tumble.
absolutely
Because the student, it's a PBS special on like these scammy sort of colleges online at University of Arizona or whatever,
Online
DeVry
colleges.
or whatever.
Monroe.
It's yeah. What's the film? Have you seen it?
I saw it a couple of years ago before I.
Tremendous film, also.
Really good. I think that it's the system itself encourages education while also victimizing the students, in as much as they're piggy banks. Students have become piggy banks for proprietary interest, which is
Anna, is this leads to a broader, and you sociology or psychology here? Anyone? One. Is society since the pyramids built on a pyramid scheme? Do we? There's this theory in economics called the next greatest fool theory. It's like you will only go up it's like an Amway club, right? You'll only go up the ladder if you got shit to sell back downward.
Unless you're smart and you go around it. Like, what I do with my student loans is I don't use them for school. I take them and I put them into a CD fund.
Dude.
And I make...
Is that legal?
Yeah, it's completely legal because
Okay.
it's like,
yeah, you could do whatever you want with the loan money if you get it.
So
if you could cash it or
you don't
whatever.
have to pay back the interest until after you graduate. So what I did was 3 months before my freshman year, I took out a lot of student loans. I put them immediately into a CD fund that opens up like a few months after I graduate, and the interest is like $50 or $60 on all my student loans because it's like 1%.
But isn't this like one of the lowest times for interest ever?
Not with CD funds because your money's locked in.
Okay. So
And
you're
I
selling
make a lot.
short. You're banking that the inflation will
They
take
just
that
give you
level
free
up.
money. Like,
What percentage will be free money at the end of 4 years, 5 years? Like 15%, 5%?
it's 5 a year, so I guess compound that. I'm not really good at math.
And so what do you do for coffee and beer money? What?
Well, I promote for clubs on Long Island that I don't actually go to, and I sell things. I sell books on eBay.
And you sell what?
Books on eBay.
Dude. Cool. I love these cottage industries. Weigh in. Name.
Ian.
Ian.
I don't know. I don't have loans. I'm fortunate enough. Like my parents say, they'll pay for 4 years of my school. If I went here, I'm from Long Island anyways. So, I know I have a lot of friends that have taken out ridiculous amounts of loans, to go to schools for their undergrad where they don't necessarily know even what they're doing, and they
That's like selling credit cards to
Yeah.
teenagers, you know.
and
Hey,
it's like it's just so stupid, especially if they have no direction, or like the field of work they're going into isn't necessarily as lucrative to pay back like a
yeah, this
$100,000.
guy's taking his MCATs, and we
Yeah.
know doctors
That's the
earn
thing
the
about loans.
myth is doctors earn the big bucks, but
That's
then they
not-
got
not
insurance, they got, you know, you might
There's a lot of bills to pay too.
not pay back your educational bill
Yeah,
until
and-
mid-30s, right?
And with these new healthcare reforms and such, doctors' paychecks are going to be cut short.
So
like,
we're
significantly.
like you guys are my heroes. We're all on like speculating about our lives. This could be interesting.
I
Name
remember, Matt.
Matt.
I remember reading in the summer that the whole student loans in the United States is set to hit $1 trillion.
Yep.
By the end, by I think right now, at the end of the year. So, and they were saying how it's going to be like the housing crisis from a couple of years ago. It's going to be the next student loans going to be the next bubble to burst.
Yeah, it's definitely been a bubble because you, like I said here, okay, Groovy Gang, you get me, Ivy League education at a cut rate college price. You know, if this were Sarah Lawrence or Bennington or Hampshire or Bard, you would be paying for the trees in the woods, right? At Bard, beautiful campus. Hi, people at Bard. But maybe you don't want to pay for the trees in the campus, right? Or something like
I
that.
spent my freshman year at Fordham University, and that was about $50,000 too. So I couldn't stay there. So I'm
Did you like it at all?
I actually like it here better. So
There you go. No, I respect this
campus,
joint.
Beautiful campus. I mean, I liked it there.
Fordham, yeah, you get the Jesuit beautiful style campus and all of that stuff. So name,
Carol.
pardon?
Carol.
Carol, DIY future. The system, the bubble, we said, a student of mine last semester joked, he said, what we're banking on here is subprime education, right? Just like subprime mortgages, right? Where they're fooling around, behind the big boys are fooling around with money behind the scene, promising you, you know, your fabulous six-figure salaries 5 years out. Some of my students actually think that, you know. It's like, oh man, I'm marching up to six figures 5 years out of this joint, blah, 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 blah. Carol, DIY of future. You're an architect of systems, sociology. What would you rearrange?
I mean, it's a business, so it's not like I could rearrange.
In
that.
Europe, it's not a business.
I mean, the way
go
I
for
see
free.
loans is they're only doing it so they can make money. And now that college is like the norm and pretty much what you have to do, or else you won't get anywhere in life, so they say.
Who's
How
first
is it different?
generation in this class? First generation college. Here you go. And you know, it's just interesting socioeconomics because the new bachelor, the new masters is the old bachelors, right? So even if your parents didn't go to college, you're looking at mom and dad and saying, "Oh, mom, man, I'm looking at grad school," and your mom's going like, "Well, shouldn't you get out and have those babies right away or something?" You know, maybe she's in the old school way of thinking about it, and you say, "Oh, mom, man, I can't. I'm looking at that at 38, 39, 52. You know, I can't." New paradigm, and your father says, "Son, I don't understand you." You know, and you say, "Dad, you're not going to." New game, right? So who is first generation college? Name. Debbie. What is this a conflict in the way you talk to your parents about your life narrative?
Not at all. They lived in Israel and they dropped out of high school because of the war that was going on. So it was always a push to get as far as they could.
When did they marry and have babies? Have you?
My mom was probably like 30.
Oh, so it's not like 21 or 18 or 13.
Oh,
It's not
my grandmother,
Appalachia.
though, had-
Your grandmother.
My grandfather has 3 wives and 23 kids. And got married to my
Dude.
grandmother at 13. So
But you admit that's kind of old school.
very.
Okay. Ladies, this means the longer you wait to I mean, economically, this is also about the narratives in an advanced service economy, is that women believe that they should have careers and wait much later for babies. And then, like, a lot of the women in New York City in their late 30s and early 40s, they go like, oh, my God, can I even have babies now? So weigh in on that. Name. Lucy. That paradigm. Waiting, career, 6 figures,
Of course.
5 figures, whatever, and you're digging it. You're enjoying it as a woman. And you're saying, wow, this is great. I hope it goes on forever. And then you go like 38, 39, 40. You go like, gosh, there's something I've missed in life. What is it? Oh, I better find a man. Oof. And then what as an architect of your future, what do you see?
I think when you're 40, you can still have a baby.
Oh yeah, they do. I know plenty of women having it at 40 now. Yeah, and you can also farm it out to these baby farms in India. You know, you can.
Oh, come
Believe
on.
it. I'm not going to mention that, but that was a plan for me at one point. But you know, it's like all sorts of things that happen. Does that, Charlotte? Does that change our? This radically changes. Like for those who studied Psych 101, this deep Freudian challenge to the patriarchy is like, then daddy ain't prime, right? We have this theory that all of society since building the pyramids have been structured around the Oedipal figure. So kill the daddy, marry the mommy. You know, that's kind of the modus operandi. Who saw the Jung Freud film that came out, the David Cronenberg film? No one? It was A Dangerous Method? Groovy, who said that?
I didn't see it, but I want to see it.
Groovy. It was good. It sort of grew on you later, but try and see that on Netflix or whatever. Viggo Mortensen as Freud and who's that German Fassbender as Jung. Anyway, Charlotte, did you grow up in a particularly Oedipal family? Dad's rules? No.
I think it was pretty equal.
Pretty equal. That lead to conflicts? Was there an implicit or explicit way of talking about the family narrative?
Well, I think it wasn't like equal, like, okay, dad does, dad and mom are the same, but it's like, dad has his, forte, and then mom has her forte, like.
So it was like a collaboration. That's what we hope for. Anyone grew up in a family where your dad actually raised you? Usually I have 2 or 3 people in that class. Brad, Oedipal, dad, put his foot down?
More of a collaboration, I'd say.
More of a collaboration. Chaz?
My dad's laid back.
So mom was in the driver's seat. Does this is part of what I want you to write about in DIY Future, because and this is great subject for films, just going to clubs, taking your camera around, pointing your camera in the face of all the boys and girls dolled up, and it's like the Discovery Channel. They swum upstream to spawn in the clubs, and you point your camera in their face and say, where do you see yourself going in 15 years? Who do you see yourself doing this in 15 years? Do you see yourself, and that used to be the old school paradigm, oh, one day I won't do this because I want to be serious about life, as if dancing and playing isn't serious. It's deadly serious. So this hopefully gives you an idea of how to take the scalpel, which is the camera. If we think of the camera in this class, all of you have one, as a cutting tool. Take it to the club, take it to the classroom. On your walk to your next class from here over, grab someone you don't even know and say, I want to ask you about student debt. It's for a class of mine, blah, 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 blah. Could be a nice way to break the ice with someone you're attracted to, right? Say, no, I got to do this for a class, So use the camera as a scalpel. Sammy, this is interesting because often these rules are implicit. Are your parents doctors?
No.
Not that, but they wanted you to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Since you're how old?
I don't know. Since I applied to colleges?
Then usually it should start at like 6 or 7, right?
No, back then we didn't talk about careers or anything.
They just let you play as a kid, right?
Well, they would say you got to be something big, wear a suit or whatever. It's like the ideal thing,
But you did well in school, right? They would be
Yeah.
pissed if you came home with bad grades,
yeah,
right?
of course. Brown people. No, I'm kidding.
They would say what? They would say, if
Well-
you came home with bad grades, this is Sammy. No, won't work.
Well, my dad was pretty strict, so he would yell a lot, and then we would get the wrong message that he's just screaming, and we wouldn't actually.
Using the stick.
Well,
When
no, not really.
he's using the carrot for love, right?
My dad is kind of strict, but my mom, she's really nice. So she would make sense of the whole situation if something went wrong. But him, it's like, dropping gasoline on fire. So, we wouldn't like speak to him too much about school or anything.
Oh, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But if you came home with a bad grade, he would know about it.
Well, not really.
Your mom would.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
she's more of like the captain, and he's more of like the ship. You know what I mean?
Okay. He's
Yeah.
more like the stoker, throwing the coal in the fire, right?
Well, I don't want
Something
him
like
to see
that.
that.
Okay. Sammy's dad, no. Wait till the end. We'll cut this out for you, Sammy. Okay, wrapping it up. Who else will weigh in, Devin? What designing the future? How would you simply redesign gender relationships right now to design a better future? Simply.
I think we should not encourage like homosexuality and stuff. Not that I'm not against it. I just think we shouldn't actively, do that. I actually seen
I don't know who
people
does
where
those, Sammy, but it's
there's
like
plenty of people that actually
okay.
kind of support that actively,
All right, gender relations. Anyone weigh in? Because it all starts there. You guys take your classes, you work hard. On the weekends, you want to party, right? And hopefully, you want to party with someone else, right? So you go like, okay. You're adults. This is your entitlement. God, if you were 14 in Appalachia, you'd be having 2 kids by now. So the whole idea is not to postpone paradise, not to postpone the sense that you're little kids just working a way to get you. How would you change the way you guys, whoever you're attracted to, how would you change the codes, implicit or explicit, between each other?
What do you mean with the relationship?
Well, for one, I used to teach this study abroad to Rome thing. I couldn't believe every year it got worse. People come in my class all boozed. It's like they had to get lubed with booze to get down with each other. And I'm like, where did that come from? Because they had to lower the inhibitions, which means the codes, to even appear to be half plastered, to be approachable.
I think that
Where'd that come from?
I think that
social media.
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Social media
Cell phones.
influences a lot of things in different ways.
Does it make people more uptight?
Subconsciously, we tend to kind of absorb that and act that way, even though we're not actively thinking that we're doing this because we see it on TV. However, that's what we act out,
Right. Okay, that's what I mean by that. I always said, oh, come on, I would change that. Why do you have to be an alkie at 24 in order to just get it on with the opposite sex or whoever, just to be in the game? You have to be half lubed, right? Maybe you kids not that way, but I've seen it on these you went overseas, right? These kids some of them are plastered every night, right?
Yeah, it's like their first time drinking, so they're like going crazy.
Glug, 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 glug. It's like social lubricant, right? So maybe that's what would be in society to remove that, to say, everyone loosen up. We've done our work, now let's party.
Now that you mentioned alcohol, I just want to say one thing. To solve all these drug issues, I think we need Ron Paul for 2012, literally.
Sammy, I like your libertarian spirit.
No, seriously.
Okay, no, I'm hearing you, man.
And then, we wouldn't have to take out loans either. We wouldn't be spending money elsewhere, for military adventures and,
There you go, and racking up money we don't
nonstop.
even have for debt. And ugly things that you guys probably go through, like Adderall and Ritalin, and how that circulates the campus, because it's the condoned drug, right? It's like, that can fry your brain. So, Sammy,
Thank you.
I want to thank you. Let's give Sammy a hand, and see you on